Have you ever wondered what goes on behind the table at a dance competition? Exactly what are the judges looking for anyway? This is Making the Impact, a dance competition podcast. Each week, we'll cover a different topic related to the world of competitive dance from the perspective of the judges behind the table. Our Day in the Life series continues with today's episode of Making the Impact, all about being on tour. Cassidy Noblett and Brion Watson give us their unique insight into the experience of touring, both with music artists and Broadway musicals.
Hey y'all, welcome to this week's episode of Making the Impact. I'm your host, Courtney Ortiz, and I'm here with my co-host, Lesley Mealor.
Hello, Courtney. Happy podcast day, as usual. Always happy to be here on what will be a Thursday in real life.
Yes, and 2026 is here.
Man,
brand new year.
It's still always challenging for me to get that 6 in there.
I know.
It's been a few days and it's hard.
Yes. It's a whole new year and a lot of fun ahead in the dance world that we live in and the competition dance world because season is quickly approaching. I know that my season starts this weekend with Streets Dance Convention and Competition. I'll be out judging and teaching to kick off my 2026. I cannot wait to see the talent. It's going to be amazing.
I can't believe it's just already here. We complain all of the fall and we're like, we miss competition. When is it competition season? And all of a sudden here it is. So hope everybody is ready for their first events coming up soon. And I sure am ready to get out there behind the table in a few short weeks for me. So just really excited to get it started, but mostly excited about this episode today because it's a good one.
It's a great episode today. We are back in our Day in the Life series, which so many people are loving. I love them because we get to sit down with industry pros who have lived the life of whatever our topic is. And today we're talking all about a day in the life of a dancer on tour, which I think that so many dancers dream of being on tour one day.
Yeah.
That was always a goal of mine. Yeah. It can be.
Can be. It seems like it.
It seems like it would be. And I mean, we've both toured in our lifetime as professional dancers, and there's some luxury aspects to it and not so luxury aspects to it and a lot of sacrifices that you have to make to be on tour. But I think one of the most fulfilling things for me on tour is getting to travel the world or the country on someone else's dime is one of the biggest perks. You get to go to so many places you probably would have never gone on your own and experience new cultures and people and food and sights. And I think that's what's so cool about being a dancer is the opportunity to travel.
Yes. And these two guests today have traveled in a variety of places, and we'll hear about those shortly. But we just want to remind you, as usual, if you love what we do, if you enjoy our podcasts, we would really appreciate a review on whatever platform you choose, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We are hoping to get onto YouTube. So if anybody loves to listen on YouTube, we will be there at some point soon. But yeah, if you have a review to share, if you love what we do, please let us know and leave us a 5-star review. That helps us get up in the ratings and available to more people. So shoot us a review if you have a chance.
Yes. Tell us that you love us. Tell us what you love about Making the Impact. We've been around for 7 seasons, y'all. So if you're just finding out about us, you have a lot of catching up to do. But for all of our tried and true diehard fans that have been there from the start, we really hope that you continue to enjoy season 7 on the podcast and today's episode. But before we jump in, let's hear from our wonderful sponsors. Dancers, choreographers, and teachers, are you ready to take your routines to the next level? At Impact Dance Adjudicators, our online judges' critiques give you the professional feedback you deserve. And here's why we're the best in the business. All of our judges are pre-screened industry professionals, many with over 10 years of experience in the judges' seat, known for their fabulous critiques at competitions across the country. With IDA's online judges' critiques, you can request a genre-specific judge to get accurate feedback tailored to your submitted dance style. And no more waiting around for weeks to receive back your critique. We guarantee to have your feedback returned to you within 5 business days. And if you need an even faster turnaround, we're proud to be the only service in the industry that offers 24-hour rush delivery. Our exclusive post-critique additional feedback goes beyond the standard critique that you get at competition. Your judge will pause the video and break down your corrections, offering actionable advice and exercises to take back into the rehearsal studio. And with critiques starting at just $35, we offer competitive pricing in the online critique market. IDA's online judges' critiques have been serving the dance community since 2017, with hundreds of happy customers who return year after year and 5-star reviews. Visit impactdanceadjudicators.com/online critiques or click the link in our show notes to submit your routine and experience why our online critique service is the best in the business. Dance World, we are here today for another wonderful podcast episode, and we're back in a Day in the Life series that we are doing for the past 2 seasons, and I love these episodes. I learn so much from all of our guests that join us because sometimes I haven't experienced the day in the life that they have experienced in their dance careers. And this is a great way to get an inside glimpse into what it would be like being on Broadway or dancing as an NFL cheerleader or working on a cruise ship. But today's episode is all about being a dancer on tour. And we have 2 brand new guests who are joining us, bringing 2 different sides of the touring lifestyle, a Broadway national tour and a music artist national tour. So I'm sure they have very similar experiences living on the road, but also being on a Broadway show versus working with a music artist, I'm sure are drastically different at the same time. So I can't wait to hear all about their journeys living on the road. And first up, I'm very excited to bring the commercial side of this chat here today. They have toured extensively for their entire career with some of the biggest artists in the country. A few to share. Janet Jackson. Hello, excuse me. Lesley and I went and saw Janet Jackson recently live in concert, and oh my gosh, it was the best thing ever. And the dancers were dancing for their lives. So 10 years with Janet Jackson, Spice Girls, another fave of mine, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, Beyonce, the list goes on. I am so thrilled to welcome Cassidy Noblett to the podcast. Welcome, Cassidy.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, we're so happy to have you. We've actually had your sister, Casey, on the podcast previously as well, and is a good friend of Lesley's.
The one and only. I love my sister. She's like the pioneer for the family for dance. So like nothing but love for her.
Talented family. And we're excited to have you on and meet you today.
Yes.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Yes. Well, Cassidy, I know I shared a few of your touring specific credits, but I'm sure that you have many other credits in your dance career outside of just touring. So if you wouldn't mind sharing with our dance world a little more about you, where you grew up, how you got into dance, what took you out to LA, and then any other career credits you'd like to share and what you're working on now as well.
Well, I actually started in the dance studio, my mom's dance studio, and I was a little being, but Casey was 5 years older than me. Sorry, Casey. She kind of was the seed that got us moving to where we wanted to, because Jacques D'Amboise, who was he was Balanchine's protege for New York City Ballet. He was coming down to North Carolina to do a workshop at Duke University. And my sister was like 9 years old. My mom was like, we're going. So my mom took my sister and went to this workshop, and Jacques fell in love with her. I mean, that was the thing. He was like, you're great. I have a kids program called the National Dance Institute in New York City that helps get kids out of bad homes and gets them the arts and dance and starts to put, this world into their journey. And he was like, I'd love for you to come up. So when Casey was 9, Mom and Casey both went up to New York to start training in his summer program. And that like opened our world. And then when I was 7, I was just old enough. Jacques was like, does Cassidy want to come? And I was like, yes. Why?
Right.
Because there's also an FAO Schwartz toy store there that I would love to experience on my off days. So
that piano, I love that piano and FAO Schwartz.
Tom Hanks, literally, I was getting ready to be Tom Hanks there. And so I started going to New York when I was 7, and that just kind of changed the world. So train at National Dance Institute during the day, and then go take steps in Broadway Dance Center with like the working industry people. And then my sister actually went to North Carolina School of the Arts for her senior year of high school. I was like, you know what? Good idea. My junior year, I was like, I'm going to follow you, because she got really great modern and ballet training there. And I was like, that'll really add to the commercial lane that I already train in. Because like dance studio in North Carolina, Roxborough, not cool for a boy to dance. I'm like the only boy in town dancing in small town. And you also have to go back to like, I was born in the 80s. So boys dancing at that time, absolutely not. Not okay. So I also had to play sports. So I was really just kind of doing that. So the point of the matter is, I was like, I need to get more experience in the professional training. So I went to North Carolina School of the Arts, auditioned for NYU for my first year of college, went there for 6 months, hated it. Sorry, because I came from like conservatory to like a university. So academics were heavy for me at NYU, but at School of the Arts, I was doing like 10 hours of dance a day. NYU, I was doing like 2. So I was like, went back. And then as the summer came up after my first year of college, there was a new agency opening in New York City from Los Angeles called Clear Talent Group. And I was like, you know what, universe, I'm going to audition for this. And if I get it, you're giving me permission to leave school and go chase my dreams. One thing led to another. They wanted to put me on their roster. And I was like, okay, I'm quitting school and I'm going right after what I want. And that led me to New York. And so, I've been going to New York since I was 7. So it's kind of like my stomping ground. And, ultimately I wanted to be in Rhapsody's company, the one and only Rhapsody.
Oh, yeah.
And that was my goal. And in the first couple of months, I got it. And I trained with her for a couple of years. And then there wasn't a lot of auditions in New York. And I was like, I got to go to LA. And that kind of led to me being an artist that was trying to do everything. I never had my eye on one thing. It was that I have a voice, I have a passion, I have a work ethic. I just want to do it all because I don't know what the business has to offer. I don't know what each job would be like. I don't know what each crew that I could work with would be like. And so I just kind of pushed through that. And for me today, I still, I've been in the business since I was 18 and I'm 41 now, but I take class every day. I choreograph almost every day. I still audition. I still perform. I choreograph. I creative direct. I direct. But I just say that because there's so much you learn. As you learn, you're like, there's so much I don't know, the more that I know. I'm like, oh, I still need to do this. So I take on new things all the time. And I just kind of love this business. Like I say you have to dream and put your wishes as stars. But like every time I pull one down, I'm like, oh, here's 3 more. So it's a little cluttered up there, but I'm like, I just want to enjoy the journey. There is so much in this business and it continues to change. So, but just to your question, something I think that's been like really important to me outside of touring was doing the Super Bowl with Katie. But that was a job that came from being on the road with Katie. So for us, there are a lot of projects during the touring time that they get that are really exciting because of the hype of a tour. The companies are trying to push their visibility everywhere so that people come. So Super Bowl was something I got to do with her. Luckily, because, it's only like a once in a lifetime chance. And I happened to be with her during that time, which was really great. And honestly, with her too, I got to do the Entertainment Weekly cover of a magazine. And it's not often that they bring their dancers in because they can just have their whole glam squad to do that. And I really enjoyed that it was about us being on the tour with her and what that life was like. But currently, I'd just say the last little things, because I've shifted also out of performing with like choreography as well. I assisted Galen as an assistant choreographer on the new movie that came out, A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey with Margot Robbie and Colin Farrell, which was like, it was really nice because I've worked with Margot twice. I did the Harley Quinn movie back in the day. Well, not back in the day, but Harley Quinn Birds of Prey when she had her own film and Ryan Heffington did a piece. So I got to dance with her then. And then I did the Oscars for I Am Ken for the Barbie movie. So I'm like sitting here and then we're filming and then Margot walks in the room and she's like, Cassidy. And I'm like, the moment that she remembered me was I'm like, this is everything that it makes it for. Like these relationships that I'm building, this superstar remembered my name and was happy to see me. And I was like, how can you want anything different? It doesn't care about the money. I don't care about the thing. I'm like, we have a connection and it's special. And then in April, the new Michael Jackson movie is coming out that I'm in, which ties to, I got to do 2 big things in this. We did one and then there were reshoots that came up and I got put in another thing. So I'm going to be in the new Michael Jackson movie as a dancer.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
Oh my gosh. Congrats. I can't wait to see it. I just saw the previews for it when I saw the Wicked movie in theater. So can't wait to see you in that. That's really exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Man, and that absolutely ties into our next guest. Very exciting for
Yes.
Courtney to do a little spiel about our next guest.
So our next guest is bringing us the Broadway National Touring Experience. And boy, does he have some experience living on tour. They have been in Wicked, the musical, on tour, Hamilton on tour in Puerto Rico, and national tour. And they are currently on tour in MJ, the musical. There's the tie-in right here, now.
That's crazy.
I am so excited to welcome Brion Watson to the podcast. Welcome, Brion.
What's up, Courtney? How are you?
I'm so good. And fun fact, way, way, way back when Brion was a student, I taught him at a dance convention.
How do you remember that? The only
Dropping
dance
nuggets.
convention I went to, by the way.
The one and only dance convention of your life, I taught you.
I swear.
And then, like, even more fun full circle, Brion was looking for a sublet at a point in time, and I connected him with Lesley, and Lesley and Brion were roommates for a while.
It's crazy how everything ties in. And so it's crazy listening to Cassidy's story and the connections that we have. His journey is kind of similar to mine, which is good to hear, especially coming from North Carolina.
Yes,
Just to hear
both
that's,
of you.
it's so crazy. But I started out at the age of 8. Where I'm from, we do an annual production of The Wizard of Oz every year. They just celebrated 30 years, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
And my younger brother was a part of that. He would do that every year, and I was into sports, believe it or not. Football, basketball, soccer, baseball, everything. So I was an athlete already. But one year, I just said to my parents, I just wanted to do it with my brother. I just wanted to do it with him. So they got me into theater, and that's where I started to find out who I was. I was a pretty active child. I was expressive. I would walk in the barbershop, they would call me Little Terror. Because I just had so much energy, they didn't know what to do with it. But I found that theater was an outlet for that. So I, did community theater, and then I started dance. I only started dance because of theater. I wanted to become well-rounded. So I started to get into training. I didn't train much in dance. I was really more into theater.
Yeah.
I didn't start really training until I was a senior in high school. I went to, a studio back at home. And that studio it taught me, I was always performance-based. It was always, for me, what's the story you're trying to tell? It was always acting-based for me. I started training at the studio, and then I went to summer intensives, I started going to the Dance Theater of Harlem Summer Intensive and Alvin Ailey's Summer Intensive. And that's when I really started to see, okay, let's maybe dance. I was a natural dancer. I was flexible, I was like, maybe let me see what I was like, let me see what I can do with this, So that's when I auditioned for the University of Cincinnati Conservatory of Music for musical theater. I auditioned for that. That was my top choice. When I got in there, I canceled every audition that I had after that. I don't advise that, but that's what I did. Just like Cassidy, I only stayed for 6 months.
Really?
I did. I did not love it. It was a culture shock for me. I was, a young Black boy from North Carolina. I didn't know anything about that world. So I stayed there for 6 months, and then I left. I had to, reconfigure how I was going to get to where I was going to get to. So I started auditioning. I auditioned for the Muni. Courtney, you worked at the Muni.
I saw you at the Muni. We saw each other at the Muni. Yes, because your cast was after, I was in rehearsal and you were coming. I forget, but I saw you there on one of your contracts.
Jerome Robbins, right?
Yes.
See, I remember.
Yep.
I auditioned for the Muni at the age of 18. And everyone in the program at CCM was like, freshmen don't get that job, this, that, and the third. And I said, I don't care what you say.
Right.
I'm going to go. And I ended up booking the job. I booked Hairspray. And then after that, I just went to Alvin Ailey Summer Intensive on a full scholarship. And I just ended up staying at Alvin Ailey for their certificate program, which was 3 years.
Oh.
And just like Cassidy, I wasn't used to, the academics all the time. So a conservatory worked better for me. I was just used to, dance, dance, dance. And that just worked better for me and my lifestyle. And then after that, like you said, I booked Hamilton with Lynn in Puerto Rico. I was, I did a sit down in San Francisco for about 15 months before COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
COVID hit, I stayed with Lesley, which was a great time. I'm so grateful for that. I'll always be grateful for her for taking me into her place and giving me a place to stay. When I had to
Yeah.
get out of North Carolina during the pandemic, I had not lived at home since before college.
Right.
Yeah.
It was different. I was like, I got to get out of here. I got to figure out. Yeah, I got to figure it out on my own. And then after the pandemic, I continued to do Hamilton. And then I ended up doing Wicked for 9 months. And then I ended up booking MJ the musical on tour. I've been with MJ for about 3 years now, and I made my
Wow.
Broadway debut with MJ.
Yeah.
Yay!
So
Congrats!
kind of similar to Cassidy being able to do the Katy Perry opportunity because of
Yes.
having been on tour. Maybe it's not directly because of you having been on tour with MJ, but like,
Well,
Most
like
likely.
Cassidy said, it's
Broadway called.
right
Yeah.
for me, and I think what people should know is this industry is all about the impression you leave on people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Cassidy is talking about the connections he's making with, these stars, but you're a star too, Cassidy. You know what I mean? Like it's all about the connections and how you your work ethic and how you leave a space. So that has helped me in my career. I mean, that's how I really got in the door for MJ.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Balderrama, who was the one of the assistants for Hamilton. I worked with him in Hamilton, and then I reached out to him about MJ. I knew the tour was coming up, and I was like I love the show, and this is the show I want to do. And then he brought me in for it, and he knows my work ethic.
Mhm.
So it really is about that.
Yeah. Well, and Courtney and I were saying earlier before we got on the episode that, I've never met Cassidy, but every single thing I have ever heard about Cassidy from everybody that I know is that he is a wonderful human being.
Sure.
Having lived with Brion is a wonderful human being. And I was like, these are the right people because they're going to come on and be wonderful human beings, which is like
because
step
we're
one.
from North Carolina.
But obviously, listen, the southern
hospitality.
But yeah, it's like your reputation precedes you, and you also
Absolutely.
both happen to be very talented, but your core is good person.
I'm telling you, it's that. And when you talk about like mental health, especially on tour, it is the most important thing that keeps me going. Like people keep asking me, like, Brion, how are you doing? And I'm talking about like, these are not easy shows.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
They
I
are not.
always find myself in the hardest track. Always. It is, I lie to you not. And every time that I do, it teaches me something new.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for it. But mental health is the most important thing that gets me through being on tour, doing a show 8 times a week. I have to make sure that everything is aligned. My body, my heart, and my spirit is aligned. Because if it's not, I won't be able to, one, go on stage and give the most genuine and performance that I can. Also, I won't be able to interact with people like I need to interact with people. That's the
Right.
main thing about this is you are with people 24/7. Some of these people I have been with more than family members.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Wow.
for me, that's the most important part. It's just maintaining my mental health.
Yep.
Cassidy,
And-
can
and
you speak a bit to that, having done this for as many years as you have?
Yeah, I think humanity trumps all.
Yes.
I think that your ability to give your art back to the world is secondary to who you are as a human, because the way you are as a human allows you to connect. It opens the channels of love, giving. I think what's really important is because so many dancers, I don't speak of this badly, I just think from my observation, dancers sometimes come in and do the dance job, hang with the dancers, do the thing, leave. I am a different bird or breed. I talk to every person, and it's my father. My dad talks to, what do they say? There's never a stranger you didn't know. Is that the saying or something?
Yeah.
My dad talks to everybody. As the older I get, I'm like, oh my God, Jeff Noblett, I am you. But I talk to every single person on tour. That is from the caterers to the cleaners to the bus drivers to our wardrobe to our hair and makeup to our riggers to our lighters to our soundboard to our grips. Every single person, especially when you're on tour, is part of your family. And those relationships are really valuable for two reasons. One, they're valuable because there's some wonderful people on this planet. And you don't get to know them unless you open your mouth and say, hey, and make a connection. It's easy to get in your bubble and do what you do. The second is, and around too, if you don't just want to be a dancer and you want to move up that ladder, one thing I've always enjoyed is like once I was on the road and then, a later tour become dance captain, it's really important that I understand how to speak to people. Mm-hmm. So instead of being like that thing over there, right there is in the way.
Right.
Don't talk to someone like that. That's not their language.
Right.
That light over there, or the LED screen right here shifted about a foot over, which is blocking the stairwell for our entrances from backstage. Things like that show respect to the people that you're talking to.
Yes.
Going up, how was your day? How are you feeling? How is your family? Are you hanging in there? Do you need anything? It really makes your art, once you are on stage, that much better because the gift is shining. It's getting the oxygen. It's getting the fact that you understand the magnitude of the power that you are in. You are part of a show, and the show is everybody. And it is a privilege and an honor to have a platform to perform. So when your family on the road and the people you work with and all of that stuff is like this, the gift is untouchable. And then the people that it can reach and touch in every single city is magical. So I always think it's like humanity before art, because your art can be dope, but if your humanity is awful, nobody wants to buy it. Nobody wants to see it.
That is so true.
Yes to all of it. Wow. Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, I would like to dive into some more touring specific details. And I know that, Brion, you mentioned in your intro that, and as we've talked many times on the podcast, for all of our listeners out there, you probably have an idea by now, because Lesley and I are musical theater people, that like on Broadway, you do 8 shows a week. You get 1 day off a week. And for touring lifestyle, you typically only get Mondays off. And sometimes that's a travel day for tours on Broadway.
And if you're on a non-union tour, good luck to you.
Yes. There is a big difference in the Broadway community of a non-union versus union tour. And most likely for the union tours, you're having longer sit-downs in different cities, at least a week, sometimes a month, sometimes multiple months. So you're not doing those travel days as frequently. But then for the non-union tours, you might be in a coach bus on every other day. You might be sleeping on the coach bus. You might be doubling up, bunking up with friends. Like it's they call them bus and truck tours, where there's one-nighters and you're
next, a literal bus.
Literally the next day you're in a new city.
It reminds me of, I just saw something of Debbie Allen, that famous monologue that she does in Famous. If you want fame, fame costs. And like every day I'm like, you're so right.
Fame does cost. But yes, today via the Brion part of the world is we're talking about a Broadway national tour, which has a few more perks than a non-union tour.
Sure, yes.
But Courtney, what was your question? I even think we got there.
I guess my question is for Cassidy. Now, we've learned for Brion that you've currently been with MJ for 3 years on the road.
Yes.
Now, for Cassidy, when you've said that you've toured with Janet for 10 years, does that mean that you literally didn't come home for 10 years?
No, 10 years of touring. Just 10 years of tour life.
General. So how long is a music artist tour typically? And like, do you come home ever?
Mm-hmm. So a lot of what happens in our world with artists depends on how big the artist is. And that means, are they US big? Are they US and Europe big? Or are they global big?
Oh.
I have done, luckily, the artists I've been with have been global. So it has been a different type of tour.
Mm-hmm.
A tour could last anywhere from 6 months to, my last tour with Katie was 3 years.
Like straight for the most part?
With promo. So that included promo. So generally, so we'll say, let's start this. Let's say an artist is getting ready to come out with a new album and they want to start releasing singles. Mm-hmm. Sometimes what can happen is you can start to learn a song or two and do promo tour, which will be spot dates in different cities and different countries around the world to promote the singles, because the singles lead to the buying of the album. Well, we're now streaming, and then which leads to the ticket sales.
Mm-hmm.
While that's happening, that may say, great, let's do you on Jimmy Fallon. Cool, we have the VMAs coming up. Let's promote the song here. Let's go to Europe and do the EMAs. Let's go do Top Model in Germany, and you'll just come, they'll perform there. Let's do, the NRA Awards, or let's go to Australia and do Good Morning Sydney, things like that. So the idea is during promo tour, get the songs and the album out to the world before you start touring. So that could be 6 months to a year. Some artists just crank now because everybody understands albums aren't selling. So they are, okay, great. We released a single a month ago. Next one's out. And you're like, wow, wow, that was quick. So that can start promo. And then once regular tour starts, a lot of the times it'll be America and then Europe, Australia. We'll do like Japan and China and Asia. And then some people will do spot dates in Africa. So we generally do maybe 6 continents sometimes for a tour. But we're not bus and truck except in America and Europe.
Okay.
And it's a little different because with a music artist, the schedule of touring and the shows depends on what the artist wants, as well as in combination with what the path can be during that time with the venue's availability.
Right.
Generally, like I've been on roads, like when we were with Beyonce, we may do 4 shows in a row, 2 shows off. 2 days off, 3 shows, 1 day off, 2 shows, 4 days off. And it can change. But most of the time, unless you're doing like a really big city, I'm on a new city every day.
Wow.
Like finish the show, get on the bus, wake up in the middle of the night, move into a hotel, get up in the middle of the night, take all your stuff off, try to go back to sleep, wake up, gym, sightsee, leave about, 2 or 3 in the afternoon, get back on the bus, go do all that stuff, show, and then do another city.
This is basically a non-union tour. But with Katy Perry.
But with a sleeper bus.
Like that. Yes, we have beds on our bus. But
yes,
you have a nicer bus. Okay.
Nicer. Well, yes, and it can depend. So like with a big artist, like our bus could be front lounge, tables, like couches, kitchen, middle bunk, middle area is your beds, 6 on each side, back lounge.
Okay.
We only use that to sleep from venue to the hotel.
Right.
I've luckily been on A-list tours, which meaning I don't say that in that way. I'm just saying like my experience has been sleep on the bus for a couple hours, get up and move to a hotel.
Right.
Some people stay on the bus and that is their home until they get to the venue. And the venue is where they shower and sleep and eat and do all that.
Interesting.
So it can depend. So America and Europe, we do bus tours. Then once you leave and you go to Australia, Asia, Africa, things like that, you have to do flight tours because the show has to travel the entire thing over and cities aren't close.
Right.
So they're not trying to keep you on the bus for 36 hours. It's fine. Wake up, we'll fly you the next day. So that is a little bit easier, but time zones.
Ooh,
a lot more time zones. Yeah.
Yeah, time zones.
So how does that compare to your travel on Broadway? I know I mentioned that Mondays is typically the travel day, which also equals the day off, but...
Sure. I will say MJ is the first show that I've done one weekers with.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And
so Hamilton and Wicked, you were sitting down for longer periods of time. Like how long were you in a city?
For Hamilton, I was at least in a city for 2 weeks.
Okay.
At least.
I love
Wicked, Wicked, I was only with 9 months. So I was in Chicago for 2 months, in DC for 2 months. So,
a little bit more of a home base.
Yes. MJ threw me for a loop.
Okay.
Yes. I had to figure out I had to figure out a lot of things.
Okay.
But it's interesting hearing Cassidy's story because I didn't know. I'm interested to see how do you continue to like stay in shape or continue to like, make sure you're remembering the choreography or because you're doing, you said, 2 or 3 days and then you're off.
Dancers, have you ever gotten feedback at competition and thought, wait, what did that correction even mean? Or teachers, have you ever wished for feedback that helps you bring your choreographic vision to life and make sure your story is actually reading on stage? Why wait until you hit the stage to get an unbiased opinion? Now you can have a fresh set of eyes on your dance before you hit the stage with IDA's online judges critiques. Our critiques are done by professional, pre-screened judges from IDA, many with decades of experience behind the table. You can even request a judge to specialize in your submitted dance genre, so you're getting feedback that actually makes sense for your style. From technique to performance, execution, and costuming, your judge will offer personalized feedback based on your requests. Our service guarantees delivery within 5 business days, or upgrade to 24-hour rush delivery for those last-minute prep sessions before competition. And we even offer our unique choreography consult critiques. These are designed just for the choreographers, teachers, and studio owners. Instead of focusing on the dancers and the feedback, your IDA judge will do a deep dive into dissecting your choreographic elements, from concept to transitions to formations and storytelling. Want to learn more about our online critique service? Then head to our website at impactdanceadjudicators.com/online critiques, or click the link in the show notes to submit your video and see exactly why IDA's online critiques are the most trusted in the industry.
So for us, work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
Every morning, like we go to the gym. We, especially for males on these pop tours, body is going to be part of our what we were sold for. You know, that is what the industry requires. And even if you're not necessarily shirtless, you will be. But if you're not, your arms are still out, or you're in something that shows physique. So we have to make it very standard that part of our schedule every single day is our training in the gym. And if we don't, like I would always request, like if we're going to a place and the hotel doesn't have a gym, that y'all will provide access for us or reimburse us to go to one.
Right.
Have to. There's no way I'm getting on stage besides somebody not at my best.
Right.
Okay.
Physically.
Yeah, because I'm doing, I have the set 8 shows a week. So we only get that one day off. And sometimes because they're 1 weekers, I only have a day to rest, but we're traveling. You know what I mean? So it's hard to sometimes to reset my body into like, especially doing, MJ is like very active. We're doing, a lot of different styles of dance. It's low to the ground, but then we have to turn around and like pull up, you know?
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of different things that it calls for. So I will say that it helps me knowing that I have a set schedule.
That you know what you can expect every week.
Yes, because I've never experienced what Cassidy's talking about. Having to really make sure that I'm like going to the gym. I do go to the gym. Cross train, but I have the show.
Right, the show helps you keep in shape.
Yes,
because it's daily. Yeah,
for sure.
Wow.
And I do find that like it's so important because we're traveling generally every night, unless like when you're in LA, you may have 3 or 4 shows. Sometimes they may want to do 2 shows, but still 2 days tops with that second night traveling.
Right.
We start to get used. What I always say is this is you got to find comfort in the discomfort. You got to find stability in the instability, because that becomes the life. And I really enjoy the momentum of it all, because you're like, new city, next day. Great. And you have to do the same thing. So you eventually, we don't have super long that we have to do things at the venue though. So let's say we come in and have our sound, we come in and have our sound check. But that can change every day depending on what time the trucks got there, because they have to set the show up every single night and break it down yeah, that's hours of work.
They have the hardest schedule of everybody.
They do.
Beyond. So let's say you first start the tour and they start breaking it down, takes them 4 or 5 hours. They get it to like 2.5, 3. So they are learning to do that. But depending on how long the drive is, let's say they don't get there till 2 in the afternoon. Well, then they have that, which pushes everything slightly back. So you're always just kind of listening. What time are we going today? Got it. Okay, what time sound check? Used to be 5. Oh, it's going to be at 6 today.
Right.
Got it. Oh, she wants to add a new song in. Okay, cool. DVD's coming up. We need to have rehearsal, And like one thing I did with Dance Captain, because you were talking about practice and how do we know? When I was dance captain on Katie, I thought something that was really important for me, which really made my schedule intense too, was after the show every single night. So I'm getting off stage by 11, getting on the bus by 11:30 or 12 to have like my little bite to eat. I would get a copy of the show and I would watch the entire tour every night and I would take notes.
Okay.
So I wasn't going to bed till 2 or 3, maybe just arriving at the next blaze or sleeping for an hour and doing all that. But I would make sure that the show looked good. And I'd be like, we need to do this, or let's just take a second and do this. And the other thing is we don't have swings.
Right.
That is
that's
something that is really interesting to me, coming from the musical theater world. And Brion, how many swings do y'all have on tours?
We have 4 male swings and 3 female swings.
Wow, that's a lot of swings.
Dancer swings.
Yeah,
that's great.
Not even to mention like the leads and
yeah,
They're on the road
with you at each place.
They are, yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah,
I know.
No swings over there in other commercial touring land.
And for our listeners out there, if you're curious to know what is a swing, we did a whole episode on swings and understudies from, I think it was 2 seasons ago or last season. So go give that a listen. It is pretty much the people that save the day when someone is sick or injured or took a day off, and they jump in place of that dancer or ensemble member. But it is interesting to hear that.
So who saves the day on the commercial tour?
Are you ready?
Yes. So ready.
Tell us.
Okay, off stage. Oh, she's sick? Okay. So when you're coming up, y'all take center. I'll switch and I'll go. Great.
On the fly.
In the moment?
5, 6, 7, 8, dude. Boom, boom,
Wow.
boom, yeah. Yeah, y'all
That's
come
a
center.
professional.
Yeah, come on over here.
Literally talking and figuring it out. I mean, there's been times like, I remember I was sick one time. Every time I came off the stage, I would go to the medic room and throw up. And then I'd be like, hear the music coming, run back to the stage. There will be people, because when injuries happen or sickness happens, it is happening generally in real time.
Yeah.
Because everybody tries to push through because they're like, there's no one to do my track.
Right.
So when we try to push
that
through, and sometimes you can't, and you're like, oh, great. So you're not going to be here for Legendary Lover? Okay, great. So you're not going to have a partner. You shift over. We're going to do this. Go. And we just make it work. And we take care of the artist. As long as the artist looks good and we make the choreography look symmetrical and are able to keep the idea, I tell you 99.999% of the audience has no idea.
Sure.
Right.
So we don't train in that in the commercial business either.
Right.
We don't really train for what do we do in this case because everything is different. You don't know what problems you're going to reach or.
Right.
So yeah, it's interesting. We have no swings. We handle it in real time.
Insane.
I
can't believe that works. Like,
kudos.
Also, I feel like, no offense, but I feel like music artists can afford to add at least one swing that could be like interchangeable and throw them in. I don't know. I mean, there have been so many instances of shows that I've done that don't have understudies or swings, and it's just like a disaster. You know, it's just like a free for all when that instance happens. So it's like a big, huge music artist. Why would you take that risk when you know you're living on the road for however long? You know, yeah, I know. It always comes down to money. But, you know, I think there's been a lot of progress for Broadway, at least, especially Union Broadway. There can be more. Absolutely.
Yes.
There can be more. But have you ever swung, Brion, or were you always an onstage track?
Always an onstage track.
Got it. Okay.
I don't know if I would like to swing.
Yeah.
I am so addicted to the hype of doing it every night now.
Yeah.
It would be really weird to not.
Yeah, I don't know if I could sit back there, like even when I'm swung out. I don't know if I could sit back there and just be like, "Oh, when am I gonna?" I don't know. I don't like that.
Knowing you, I feel like you would hate it. You got to be going and moving, and
I also would hate it because I would also be very like analytic about it. Like I would like have a binder, and I would like I would just I feel like I would rip my hair out.
Yeah. Now I do have a question that kind of connects to the swing situation because. Obviously, we just learned that on music artist tours, there isn't a swing. There isn't a replacement. There isn't a backup plan. On Broadway tours, there are...
All those
sounds
things.
like... all of those things. There is a system in place if someone can't be there. Now, that being said, do you, as dancers in a tour, get to have a day for you? What if you need to take a day off for you? Or what if you want to go home and fly home for your sister's wedding or something? Or what if you want to be home for the holidays, but you're supposed to be on the road? Do you have to sacrifice those things when you're on the road? Or is there the option to say, I need this day off. Can I put in a 2-week notice request?
Sure.
You know?
From my experience, it depends on the show.
Oh.
With Hamilton and MJ, we had a lot of offstage people. So they were more willing to give days off,
Mm-hmm.
personal days. We get a personal day a month, and sometimes they're very lenient with it. Sometimes they'll be like, yeah, they don't count them up.
Mm-hmm.
But with Wicked, there are not a lot of offstage people. So they're not approving a bunch of like personal days. You know what I mean? For the holidays, it you never get the holidays off. It
Okay.
to
Performers.
be yeah, if you have because they have like what they call like blackout days
Right.
Oh,
where you cannot, not call out, but like you can't take days off during the holiday season.
I see.
So everyone kind of comes together and, gets through that.
Yeah.
Now with MJ, I am lucky this year I have a 3-week layoff.
Oh, wow.
So that's
The whole
penciled
tour.
into your
Yes,
tour
the
life.
whole
You don't
tour.
get a choice. That's just how it played out.
Yes, yes.
I
So
see.
I get to have Christmas and New Year's off
Oh,
for
wow.
Wonderful.
the first time in years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, what
Well,
about like
that's exciting.
vacation? Like, does
Yes,
vacation
we get
exist?
a week of vacation every 6 months.
Okay. So 2 weeks a year.
Yeah,
And
And
is
you
it-
can put a
it's not
request
bad.
in.
Yeah. Is it scheduled for you, or you could say, I
No,
want
you
April
can.
10th to
Yes, yeah, you
Okay.
can take it whenever you need to take it, but
outside of the blackout dates?
outside of the blackout
Mhm.
dates.
I
Contracts.
see.
Read your contract.
And that's another thing
Exactly.
too that like I've seen a lot and maybe people have heard, but there is such thing called a vacation swing. So
Yes.
another
Mhm.
layer to the swing life is like sometimes they'll fly in somebody just for
Right.
Brion's vacation because he wants to go
Very
have a
true.
tropical paradise week off, and someone
No,
knows
Brion
Brion's
needs to have a tropical paradise
Needs.
week off.
needs and deserves to have that.
I
And
do
they
hear
have-
there's a Cancun trip coming up sometime.
Oh, yeah.
So you might.
I need and deserve
Company
my
manager.
vacation too.
Take note.
So yeah, I mean, I think that it sounds like the Broadway tour has that system in place to always
Yes.
have coverage when needed and allow people to have some
Yes.
time off a little.
Cassidy, where Cassidy comes from, they're making it happen in the moment.
That's
and there is a
wild.
certain level of excitement to that as well. And we
Yes.
have that as well on stage too,
Mm-hmm.
unforeseen circumstances or whatever, but Cassidy is like he's in the trenches. He's making it happen.
So
But
how
what's
do days off
interesting-
work for you, Cassidy? Or do they?
And you know what's interesting is because all of our tours are based around the artist. Why? Because
Right.
the artist is the one that is funding everything. So kind of it is a personal agenda
Mm.
and mixed with record label and management, how they want to schedule these things. And, for example, Spice Girls, they originally, we had a charter plane. They didn't want to do any commercial anything. So Virgin bought a plane for us.
Wow.
And all of the tour was on it. And the Spice Girls had their entourage. So they had a lot of their family, their hair and makeup, their children.
hmm
So the tours can be based off the artist's personal life and what that schedule looks like. They may be like, I want to do 2 shows and then a day off, 2 shows and then a day off. So again, everything stems from the desire of the artist and then how they can make that work. When it comes to like vacation days or anything, that's not
What's a
it's not
vacation
thing.
day?
Yeah, it's like you're going to have a 3-month leg in America and then there's 2 weeks off before you go to Europe.
Okay.
So we'll have the time off in between our legs,
Mm.
Right.
which is great because at the same time we know our schedule because those shows are set during that month. So I know like, okay, I'm going to get 2 days off here. Our days off, they could be travel days. Most of the time we travel right after a show, but in that world, we kind of make every day a vacation day too. So if I'm outside of America, we're all going to try to go explore every city. So you get up, you do your gym, and then you go out and do it. So it kind of
perks of
becomes
touring.
part,
Yeah.
the perks of touring. It's like part of the lifestyle. But holidays, I will say this, Christmas is generally one that people get off.
Mhm.
New Year's, maybe not. Generally a lot of shows for New Year's, but most of the artists want Christmas with their families.
Mm.
Thanksgiving, rare.
Yeah.
Rare. But like when I was on tour with Beyonce, we weren't home for Thanksgiving. Y'all, Miss Tina Knowles came in and made Thanksgiving dinner for the entire tour.
Oh my gosh.
150 to 200 people.
Wow.
She
Wow.
cooked for the whole tour with the
Wow.
team.
That's amazing.
And
It's
so
a
you're
memory
like,
you'll always have.
you do. And the thing is, artists are really good about understanding that you give up your entire life for them.
Mhm. Sure.
Mm.
Their schedule, whatever they want their holidays to look like, what they want their touring life to look like, what time they want their shows, what they want the rehearsal. you literally give up your life to be a part of theirs. And they really appreciate that a lot of the times. So no vacation days, no sick days. I will say it is very rare that you're going to leave to go do a wedding or a thing like, for example, I don't know if I'm going to say it's a regret or not, but I will say it sits on the verge of one for me. My grandmother passed away in 2013, 2014, and she passed away a day before opening night of Katie's tour.
Oh, wow.
And we were not in America, we were in Europe. And I was like, I didn't go to my grandmother's funeral because I was dance captain and I had the biggest dance track, and she's getting ready to release her tour. So we've been in rehearsal for 3 months for this tour. Ugh. And I made the decision not to go. And she was like, if you need to go, you can go. And I'm sitting here like, what do I do? Do I personally take care of this? Or everything that has been spent on writing, it's my personal thing? Or do I let 200 some people down, plus the record, plus the labels, plus the fans? Like, when are they going to redo the show? I have one of the 2 biggest boy dance tracks. I'm in charge of everything. I'm the one seeing things. So I was like, but I didn't go. So just in the aspect of, if there's little things you can ask, I don't know if you will get them. Sometimes they could, and they'll do it like a quick fix of certain numbers. But generally, we are on the road for them, their schedule, their life, their time, and we enjoy the in-betweens and during.
Wow. But that's the sacrifices we make as artists.
Yeah.
In moments like those, I try to find solace in knowing that my loved ones would want me to do this, you know? They would want me to make the choice to, even though it was a difficult choice, to do what I always longed to do. You know what I mean? So, and it is a difficult thing. And that's what I think people should know is, like, artists, we sacrifice a lot. You know, some people see like the hype of it all, you know, we're on stage and, you know, it's, you know, a big moment, everything's exciting, but what is happening behind the scenes? You know what I mean? And that's what I think is important for moments like this, like podcasts like you guys have, because people get a chance to really understand that it's more than just that. I'm dealing with more than just my body. I'm dealing with my mental health as well. I'm dealing with my, you know, my family and my spirit. And, you know, it's more than just what you see, but that's anything, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And that goes back to what Cassidy said, humanity, you know, humanity. Every time when I wake up, that's what I remind myself. You know, you are human. You are a person at the end of the day. I don't care about, I love what I do. I love being an artist, but I don't care about any of that if I'm not okay. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's going to end.
Yeah.
Right.
And a really important point about that is when you think about how many people are involved with your show, meaning the talent on stage.
Sure.
This many.
Right.
So you're like,
a small handful.
You feel, you're like, I am one of the few doing this in the world. Do I have the energy? I'm game. Whatever this journey looks like I'm game. Because, you know, especially with us, I mean, now you get tours like Taylor and them where they can have Gaga's tour, 20 to 30 dancers, which is big, but most of the time, 6 to 10. So you're like, there's only 6 or 10 of us on this tour in the world dancing with this artist. I'm good. I don't need sleep. Get me on that stage. You know,
and even in that, knowing that, you still can lose sight of that. You know what I mean? You can you still can get caught up in the moment and forget how much work it took to get there. What you sacrificed. You know what I mean? It is a sick thing. And so you have to constantly remind yourself. You have to constantly surround yourself with good energy and good people. And remind yourself, oh yeah, I know. I remember not going to my grandmother's funeral. You know what I mean? Like it's
it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
Also, outside of within touring, we talk about the show, but as Brion was saying too, like mental health, the spiritual part of your journey is the anchor to how you flow each day. That you also have to build in time to take care of the spirit, whether it's meditation, whether it's prayer, whether it's journaling, whether it's whatever your individual thing is. That is the one glue that maintains the groundedness and the ability to adapt every single day. So I just want to say, like, for people, it can't just be about the physical.
Mm-hmm.
We have to balance out with the non-physical. And that is paramount for success and happiness. And that extra little thing that gets you going when you're like, I can't get through this number. Yeah, you can. There it is.
That's right.
That thing that I worked on for the last week in the morning for 20 minutes, that's it. All those little things come together in those moments that lift you up and like put your mind back to gratitude. Put your mind back to like, what is the bigger picture? Put your mind back to like, I am here living my dream. And this little, the person's energy coming towards me, I'm fine with that. You have
right. Because you're going to be met with a lot of different kind of energies. Now,
you are.
We're not, when you say it's, a family, I mean, there are people in your family that you don't really mess with. You know what I mean? And I love you. You know what I mean? I care for you, but I don't fool with you. You know what I mean? So you have to make sure that you know yourself and you know where to put your energy. You know where to allocate your energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also remembering you have connections and people in your world outside of this touring life too. It's like you have to continue to maintain those relationships and friendships and familial ties because there's a bigger world than what you're in,
Because you can get stuck in a little bit of a bubble and this kind of dream world that you're living in and forget about this, like you said at a point, Brion, this is going to come to an end eventually. This contract is going to be over soon. And have you stayed up to date with the outside world so you can walk right back into the hustle and grind of whatever's next for you?
Right.
Yeah. And the sacrifice aspect of tour, I think, is a big component that I'm glad that we've touched on. I felt the same thing, and I'm so sorry that that was such a tough decision for you to have to meet Cassidy on your tour. And I remember feeling so guilty when I booked the international tour of West Side Story because my grandfather had always been sick, and it was just a matter of time of when is he going to go? And then I immediately was like, what if I'm in Europe when my grandfather passes? You feel these family related obstacles that are getting in the way of your dreams. And it's really hard to comprehend. What do I do? How do I make this work? How do I still do I even take this job? Is it worth the risk? And then you have to look at the fact of all of those things you just described. I got myself to this point. I worked hard for this. This is my time. My family will understand and respect it. I mean, but
if they don't, it's not for them to understand.
Even partners too, and
yes.
partners in life, boyfriends, girlfriends. I've seen so many dancers book a job that will take them away from their loved one for a 6-month period and say no to it because they can't leave their partner for that long. Ooh, I don't know. I don't think I can. It's that, those types of things, that is a sacrifice. And if you're meant to do this job, you're meant to be with that person, they will support you and make it work because that is only 6 months of your entire life. And do you really want to look back on that job that you earned and you booked that could change your life for the better to be well, I just sat at home because my boyfriend didn't want me to leave, Well,
and that's why this industry has taught me how to be a better human being from jump. You know what I mean? It's because you have the ability to step outside of yourself and be okay, I'm making these sacrifices and I'm able to really just remember what it took to get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And no decision is better than the other. You know what I mean? I don't judge anyone for the decisions they make, because like I said, you want to be cool with the decisions you make for yourself.
Right.
Not how someone else feels about the decisions I made for me. You know what I mean? Because you don't know what's going on in my head, my body, my spirit. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I think that's the most important thing for anyone, not just artists, to remember, even if you end up making the wrong decision, you trusted yourself. You know what I'm saying? You trusted that intuition, that discernment. That's
and now
what
you've learned. You've learned, okay, wow, that was actually wrong. I'm going to not do that next time.
That's right. But I made the decision myself.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ooh, the sacrifices we make to live our dreams, y'all. I mean, truly. But how lucky are we? And we have all four of us have been on tour in some capacity. Even cruise ship is a tour because you're floating at sea.
Yeah,
you can't go anywhere. You can't, and I think we've all had to make those hard decisions. I wasn't supposed to be the maid of honor in one of my best friend's weddings, and I booked a tour And it was a bus and truck where like they are absolutely not giving you a day off for anybody's wedding. And I had to say no. And it sucked, you know, and it did sort of, it didn't damage our relationship, but it limited our relationship. But, you know, would I make a new decision now? I don't think so, because that tour was really important to my career, and it was important to making me who I am today, you know, and that is what it is. And like, we live with the choices we make, and
that's right. And you're going to learn from all of them. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I try to look at experiences, good or bad. I experienced it, and I took something from it.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for it, you know, good and bad. I don't try to think about changing anything that I went through, because it's who I am as a person, you know? It's what's crafted me to be the person that I am today.
Y'all, who knew the touring conversation would be so deep? I was just like, what do you eat on tour? How do you feel your body? Like, that's not a question. Let's talk about the deep stuff. I love it.
But you know what's interesting too about it is that there is no right decision. There is a decision, and there's an intention behind the decision. And I think we, or even for myself too, is like, I have to understand if I'm making a decision that is in alignment with what I feel is right or kind or less harmful, that is kind of what I have to lean on. And people forget that in the entertainment business, we are working for other people. So unfortunately, we are always faced with decisions that are going to put somebody else with us. And unless you're in the entertainment business, I don't think you understand the importance of what each decision does because of how it leads to something else. And you don't know, like, you don't understand that if you had to miss the wedding, of course, it's a once in a lifetime, and it's not something that you want to miss. Everything that you've put up into your life to get to this point right now, this one job then could lead to the next 15 years of your evolution and opportunity and platform and who you're going to meet. And it's really hard that we just I've learned to just, like, as you said, I just respect, I don't know what's going on in your life, and you have to make a decision that is best for you. And no one else's opinion on it matters.
Sure.
Because you're not in my shoes, you don't understand. But at the end of the day, it's like, we just have to eventually find, I would say, what is my decision and where is it coming from? And at least if those things are in alignment, doesn't mean I might not have to digest it and figure out, like, how do I deal with this decision? But at least I can go to bed saying, I at least tried to come from the right place, which I think is important. Where are you coming from?
I'm not saying no to your wedding because I'm malicious and I hate you. It's because I have to weigh the value of these things for my personal journey. Yeah.
And both are equally important. Unfortunately, my hand is tied behind my back where I have to make a decision.
Right.
And your one day is very special. This could also become a year and a half for me.
Right. Well, and this is coming from someone who did just get married and invited a whole bunch of performing professionals who some of whom had to say, I'm booked and blessed and I can't come to your wedding. And it's like, I get it. I can't be upset because you have a gig. And again, that's going to maybe determine the next gig you get. And you're going to look at my pictures online and be like, oh, Lesley, you look amazing. Happy wedding day. I'll take that from you.
I remember the conversations we've had regarding everything, love, relationships. And I can't tell you how excited I was when I saw that news, and like, just, congrats. And I'm like so happy for you.
Thank you.
I haven't had a chance to tell you that face to face. We text, but.
Yeah. Well, full disclosure, people on the internet who listen to us, Brion lived in my apartment with me during like a very dark time of like relationships and what am I doing with my life? And should I stay in New York City? And it was really, a challenge in my personal life, but also my professional life of, if I'm not in New York, does that mean that I've failed as a dance professional? After 15 years, if I don't do this anymore. And so Brion and I have had a lot of deep conversations.
We have.
And with Brion being like, and again, there's people who listen to us who are, at crossroads in their dance journey as well. And, Brion was new and fresh to New York City and was very excited about the industry. And I was not, we were at opposite spectrums of the dance journey. And I thought it was going to be very hard to have his new exciting energy in my space of like, I'm tired and I am jaded and this dance industry has like, screwed me over. But it was actually very refreshing. And it was nice to like see, okay, there are people out there who are still excited about this and who work really hard and then get what they want due to that hard work. And that's, kind of, again, why I was like, Brion is the right person for this, because he comes to every space with this like fresh, exciting, honest energy. And just Really glad you're here.
Thank you.
Yay.
Tangents, but
I
anyway.
feel like we could talk about this for forever, so I don't want to keep you guys for too long. Before I give our closing question, is there anything that's really crucial to touring life that we haven't touched on that you want the world to know about? Good, bad, fabulous,
fun, exciting,
fun, yeah. Anything come to mind? What is the main thing that the people should know? This is what you're signing up for, type of thing.
Food.
Reality check. Food? Good food? Do you get to
I feel I have been eating out for years.
Yeah. Home cooked meal, what's that?
And I can cook. But I feel like I fell out of love with cooking. I feel like trying to, I guess, maybe, I don't know. We've talked about a lot.
Yeah.
Today. But food's a good one. We didn't talk about food.
It's true.
Food. I love to think about food and, the different food you get touring, the world and the country, but also the unhealthy part of it too. You know, it's hard to maintain it can be hard to maintain a healthy lifestyle if you're not careful.
And one thing I want to mention about food for all of our listeners, and we didn't really talk about money and what's provided when you're on tour and things like that. But for most tours, you are housed, they travel you, and they give you a stipend for food, a per diem for food for most tours.
In addition to your pay.
In addition to your pay. So you are, one of the perks of tour life in any scenario is you are going to save so much darn money that I know people who have been on tour for 10 years and they can buy a house, a glamorous house, because they've been, because they've worked so hard on the road and they got rid of their apartment wherever they lived and said, bye apartment, or they throw a sublet in there, because when you're on the road, you have literally no expenses besides your cell phone and your health care, you're pretty much taken care of when you're on the road. So I think, especially when I'm looking at it from maybe a residency, in Vegas residency for a music artist versus a tour. Vegas residency oftentimes expects you to move to Las Vegas or wherever the city is, and you have to pay for your housing. Same with Broadway. If you book Broadway, you have to find an apartment in New York City and you're paying rent, and that your salary is going towards your rent. But when you're on tour, you don't have to pay no rent, because they cover it for you. You're getting in a hotel, you can get an Airbnb, whatever it is. So you're pocketing more money when you're living on a touring contract versus a sit down. So just something to think about. But typically food is provided or covered in some way while you're on the road.
Yeah. And for us too, depending on the artist, sometimes we have caterers travel with us every city.
Cool.
So
amazing.
And they do, and with that, it's great because of so many food things. So there will always be a fish, a chicken, a meat, 7 different sides, 8 different salads. So everybody can eat because there's so many different types of people. And you can, outside of your per diem, then if you're at the venue, you just eat theirs. So like you said, it is really important. I was going to say, one of those the 2 little things I was thinking about is, one, don't get caught up in the hype of being on tour. Save every penny you can, because when people arrive at that place, the funds are coming in. You're seeing the world. And I've been on many tours where people come back from 1.5 years, 2 years broke because they've spent all of their money. And I see it happen a lot. So I'm just saying, save every single penny you have. Live off your per diem. If you want to do stuff, live off your per diem. Put everything else away. But another thing, do it. It is worth it. Touring is the best aspect of the business. Seeing the world on somebody else's dime, seeing new people on someone else's dime, connecting, we're doing shows for anywhere between 20,000 to now 180,000 people a night. And the roar of the crowd when the lights go off, there is no other feeling like it. I will tell you, touring is the best job in the commercial business, because when those lights go off and those people start screaming, they're not just there for the artist, they're there for you too, because dance has become such an integral part of shows that you have fans out there. You have people that are like, I came to see you. And you're like, yeah, it is the best feeling. So amongst all the hard stuff, that roar of the crowd will get you through every little thing that you need to. And also knowing that you can come back and be like, I can actually start a life. I can start to build a game plan for my future. I can buy in property, or I can, I wanted to get a nice car. You can have access coming back from tour. So everybody, please keep it on your bucket list to do. It is worth everything that you go through.
We hope you enjoyed our latest episode all about a day in the life of a dancer on tour. Huge shout out to our special guests, Brion and Cassidy, for joining us on this wonderful discussion. Don't forget to follow their touring journeys on Instagram. You can find Cassidy at ThumperDeuce and Brion at Brion_Marquis. Also, be sure to check out Brion on tour currently with MJ the Musical, coming to a city near you. And be on the lookout for Cassidy and the upcoming Michael Jackson biopic, releasing April 24th, 2026 in theaters.
Don't forget to follow Making the Impact on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, and pretty much everywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you want more exclusive episodes, support our podcast by joining our Platinum Premium membership for only $5 a month. Subscribers receive free Making the Impact stickers, shout-outs live on the air, ad-free listening, and exclusive access to our Q&A episodes for members only. Join now at impactdanceadjudicators.com/platinum premium or click the link in our show notes.
Be sure to check out IDA affiliated competition Elevation on Tour. Elevation on Tour is redefining the dance competition and convention experience. Driven by a commitment to service, integrity, and innovation, Elevation on Tour is constantly evolving to ensure the best for your studio. Engage, embrace, and elevate your dance experience at Elevation Dance Convention. The convention atmosphere is carefully crafted to promote inclusivity, personal growth, and character development. With their inspiring faculty, Elevation on Tour empowers dancers to return to the studio with a newfound energy and love of dance. Elevation on Tour Competitions offers 3 performance levels, stunning awards, and a distinguished 4-judge adjudication panel, including 2 specialty critiques for choreography and technique. Don't miss out on the teacher hospitality suite and dedicated warm-up area at every location. For more information about Elevation on Tour, visit their website at elevationontour.com.
Coming up next on Making the Impact, we've got a throwback episode on stage and costume malfunctions, an episode on partnering, and our next spotlight.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week for some more wonderful episodes.